Hello everybody, welcome back to the mania 4K World Cup 2024 Quarterfinals. Today's match in front of us is going to be extremely special because this will be the first time since the 2020 Grand Finals where Brazil defeated Japan in a bracket reset that these two juggernauts of the mania scene will fight it out again on the 4K stage. They have met 7 times before today. The head-to-head stands at Brazil 5, Japan 2. It's quite poetic that each team has 2 of the players from that grand final, and it has to be fate that while that match determined the champion of the World Cup, today's match determines an unfortunate 13-16 spot for one of our few podium places still competing here. My name is Avio and I am joined by Sun Apple. This is going to be a fun match.
Hello. I am Sun Apple and I'm actually so excited. I've been... these two teams have been so iconic to me since I've started playing, so I'm super excited to be able to be here and watching all these players compete. And it's just interesting, as he did say, only 2 players on each team are, the old heads. Everybody else is kind of newer to the scene, and honestly, it's really amazing just how well all these players on these teams have been playing.
Yep, to pinpoint the players, Le Masinho, Silifango, Kuke and Aforta were the 4 players that played in that 2020 Grand Final. Of course, Le Masinho and Silifango came out victorious, winning Brazil their first ever OS World Cup in any game mode, and the unfortunate side of the losing end, Kuke and Aforta having to settle with 2nd place.
Yeah, that is definitely true, and I believe, honestly, this is going to be a very interesting match. In my head, I genuinely have no clue who has the ability to win this match because both these teams have just been so strong and also been so close in a lot of aspects. I think everything except for SV, they're neck and neck on. But I mean, it's Japan on SV, so that is honestly very, very difficult to be able to overcome.
You do point out SV. Japan were first on SV2 in the round of 16, which I believe is Les Cadences. But for the quarterfinals, Japan did play SV2, which was First Frost. Didn't do too well, 2.78 million. So we'll see what happens this time around.
Yeah, we may see, but as we get into the rolls right now, it looks like Brazil has won the rolls, so we'll see what will happen. I believe Japan protects first, or Brazil protects first, and I'm not sure what they're going to opt to kind of choose here. Maybe something going into Rice since they really liked that in their last match.
I believe Brazil protected Dragonlance, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they protected Dragonlance against Mexico.
Yeah, it is definitely interesting because Mexico wasn't as strong of an LN and hybrid team, so as Japan definitely. So I'm not sure whether that'll kind of change up their ideology and their strategy here.
I think it might be safe if Brazil tried to protect one of the hybrids. I don't remember Japan being... Yeah, there we go. Dragonlance will be the protect. Now here's the thing with Japan though. Japan protected Tree of Misery. But the problem is Brazil have a better Tree of Misery score than Japan. So I don't think Japan are protecting Tree of Misery.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure what Japan could really protect. I forgot about the SV fix. SV1 being protected makes perfect sense, honestly. I wonder what Japan's going to ban now. Maybe something in the LN category? And it's LN1.
Yeah, Japan did ban LN1 against Spain. They will do the exact same here. Now Brazil. They banned SV1. Unfortunately, that's protected. So we'll see if they'll ban SV2. The thing is, if you're basing it off Japan's SV2 score from Japan's match against Spain, Japan didn't do too well. If Brazil maybe want to try to ban something else and leave SV2 open, it's on the cards.
SV2 was played in the last match that Brazil played, so Japan does have that information no matter what. Yeah, I don't know what the exact scores were, but Brazil did lose to Mexico on that map, so I'm not sure whether it would be really a great idea to keep it open just because it kind of gives Japan a easier pick since they really know just the scores of Brazil. And
Rice 2 is going to... Rice 2 is the jump stream. Okay.
Yeah, that is
That is
honestly, I guess it makes kind of sense. Brazil kind of just want to play for those, I guess, longer maps that can kind of tire people out and maybe cause some misses that result.
Yeah, but that also means Brazil are going to leave SV2 open. And first pick is LN2, Klassiker Einheit. Now, Japan did not play this, but Brazil already have.
Yeah, this is honestly, I think, a pretty safe pick since it's nothing like too awkward for this Brazil team to be able to play. I feel like most people should be able to play this pretty well. It's mostly going to be based off of how good your accuracy can be, since especially on like density patterns at the speed, it can be very difficult to just be able to release everything on time and consistently for the entire 2 minutes duration.
Yeah, Japan haven't had to play Elden Density in a while. I believe since round of 32, Brain Rigid Go.
Yeah, that definitely has been a bit, and there's been quite a step up since round of 32 in terms of island density, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how Japan has been like kind of faring in terms of these more difficult and more like dense patterns.
So interestingly, we're not going to see a player that I was expecting, Yomogi. It's not going to be... Oh, is Yomogi going to join? Maybe? Because I'm expecting Yomogi, 13 Wiz, and Kuruke. Not NA, but they are in the lobby. And they will be facing the same 3 players that did play this against Mexico.
Yeah, and this lineup for Brazil is just honestly really strong in terms of LN,
Yeah.
I believe. I think Naoni Bunny may have struggled a bit in terms of the accuracy, especially towards the end, but I think that could also be due to nerves since they were in a pretty high pressure situation there. So maybe just starting it off on our first LN2 pick, Brazil may fare off a bit better than they did last time.
Yeah, and of course, Le Massinho leading the charge, being pretty much Brazil's best Elden player for this roster.
Yeah, I think both Marcino and Netro are really going to be the ones to watch in terms of their accuracy. Just make sure they are playing super well, make sure they don't take any breaks on this map. But as we start off, we get past that first section, and we're already looking at just how close this match is going to be. It is already flickering.
Yeah, good stuff for Japan. Kuruke especially 99.85 to start us off as Natural drops below 99.8. But the other 2 players of Japan dropped accuracy and Kuruke will drop combo this time around, and Brazil will now have a lead to hold on to.
Yeah, in that first section we saw Japan kind of having the better accuracy, but now we're seeing Japan kind of struggling a bit. Both players, Kuruke and NA, kind of messing up on these sections, which is not what you want to see. This lead for Brazil is just expanding so much at this point. It is at 10k. Brazil has the opportunity to take 1 or 2 misses, honestly, and they'll still be fine.
Yeah, for NA and Kuruke, the misses being so early as well, there's still plenty of map left to play, and if that's any sign to the Japanese fans, it may not be good. However, Le Massinho, that's a dirty drop and the lead has shrunk. As Netro finds a drop as well! What is going on from Brazil?
Yeah, that is just so terrible to be able to see. We saw them up in the lead early on, and also don't forget this is Brazil's point, so if Japan is able to win this, this is going to be a break point. They are up 5k. A miss can happen, but it probably won't. We're getting into this last quarter, and everybody's looking super well. Brazil has the accuracy lead, I believe, or actually, I don't think they do because Kuruke's accuracy is just so good at this 99.7, and Netro taking a drop as well is just not what you want to see.
That is incredible to see. Kuruke just find a miss, they need to hold on. It's not over yet, this lead is shrinking as we speak. Japan just need to hold on still. But this was a calamity for Brazil to start off this match, an elimination match to boot as well. Wow.
Yeah, that was super close though, only 6k difference basically. Japan taking their first point and a break point at that. That is just so good for this Japan team.
Oh no. If Brazil had their score from Mexico, they would have won. That is so
Ooh.
unfortunate. That is rough. Brazil had a 2952 this map, and against Mexico they had a 2960. So an 8,000 point drop.
Yeah, that is honestly kind of sad to see, especially that being like their first pick. They were super confident in that, but just weren't able to take it. And honestly, we saw the same thing in the last match of Brazil, where they were kind of missing a lot and causing their points. And I wonder if that's going to continue to happen in this match.
Oh my gosh! There's no way Japan are doing this. Really? Rise 3 this early? I mean, this early, okay. But Rise 3. When you know that Brazil have a score better than you.
Yeah, I
This is
kind
interesting.
of. This is definitely an interesting map to play, since I feel like in terms of Brazil, they're pretty consistent on this one. So I don't know if anything's really gonna come out, and Brazil's just so good at early game. Not really early game, just any accuracy kind of playing, and this is really just perfect for them. If they really wanted to play it, they could have picked it, but instead Japan's picking it and kind of giving the opportunity for Brazil to take back a point and maybe tie it up once again.
It definitely is possible. We should see Miriki from Brazil. Miriki has been doing an incredible job this World Cup, but especially this round, having set a couple of team MVPs on some of the Rise maps. So we should be seeing them come in. As for Japan, I believe the missing square should be Kuke. There we go. They are in the lobby.
Yeah, I believe once Miwiki joins into the lobby, they will be all set. I don't know anybody else. Maybe Netro could probably join in, but they didn't do that last time, so I don't think that's going to happen unless they feel like they really need that kind of accuracy boost that Brazil can have. But I think with Lemarcino, Silifanga, and Miwiki, it can definitely be fine to be able to do.
Miriki's playing the tiebreaker. I mean, if you need context, Brazil had to go all the way to tiebreaker against Mexico in the previous match. So I think they're just like, just making sure that they got everything down if in case this match does go to another tiebreaker for Brazil.
Yeah, and it definitely is very important to be able to play that tiebreaker. I feel some kind of sections of that map can definitely trip you up if you are sight reading, and we saw that a lot in that last match as well. A lot of people kind of messing around the same parts.
Yeah, I mean that Brazil-Mexico match was definitely one of the matches in this entire tournament, and they still have to play on afterwards against a team they're very familiar with. Oh boy.
Honestly, if Brazil are able to move on to the next round into semis, it'll be pretty poetic going just through such a grueling battle here. But we will have to see, since they are down 1 point right now. Though it is only 1 point, it doesn't mean that much. They are definitely able to come back, and they were able to come back in that last match. But we go into our next pick, Rice 3 Tree of Misery. I believe this is one of the OC originals, correct?
Yes, that is one of the, at the moment, 4 OC originals so far. Well, so far so good for Japan. I mean, the accuracy difference is really nothing. But Yomogi, you might want to blink a bit, maybe?
Yeah, this accuracy difference isn't that big, but I mean, in terms of core checks, it's pretty big, especially with the Yomogi a third the way through, keeping this as on V2, by the way. Also, being at 99.99.
Oh! I think that was a 200 from Yomogi.
Well,
I was
even
a little bit of a scare.
Yeah, even if it was, Brazil still isn't in this lead right now. We get into the more denser sections, and it is looking, honestly, like Brazil is kind of taking some bits off of this lead from Japan, but Japan's just not budging at all.
Yeah, this is a really good first start for Japan. NA with a 99.99, still leading this entire lobby, not too far behind Miriki with 99.9. A dropping to 97, matching Kuke, who's also now third in the lobby. And this lead actually slowly creeping towards Japan, very subtly.
Yeah, it's kind of slowly increasing. It has gone from like 2K to at this point 3K, and we have a third of the map left. So there is still an opportunity for Japan to miss. We see it especially as the map goes
Yeah.
on and on, players stamina kind of struggling, and we kind of have been seeing their accuracy getting worse and worse. But I mean, with Brazil 299.91s compared to everybody on Japan being above 99.95, it is going to be hard for anything to change.
Yeah, I am going to be holding my breath for a bit as Miwiki drops. That is huge! Right at the end of the final section of the dense court jacks, Miwiki drops to 99.4 and seals the deal for Japan. Back-to-back points for them.
Yeah, and that is definitely a devastating miss for Milwaukee. They dropped so much. I think they dropped multiple misses on that last section. And as we get into this end, there's basically nothing. It is very simple pattern. So Japan should be able to take this point 2-0
Oh my gosh!
starting off.
What? 2996? I'm sorry, but that needs to be mentioned. Like, even if Brazil had their score against Mexico played here, they would have still lost. That is how good Japan played.
Yeah, this Japan team's accuracy is just absolutely insane. 2 sub 60 and then also 31 and 1 200. It's just how do you even beat
Wow.
that?
That you can't. That is literally currently the highest score of Trio of Misery out of all of the teams that played.
Yeah, and the only bad judgment being on Yomagi, being a 200, and they had the best ratio, and I believe
Yeah.
probably one of their best. I think it was like their second best score or something. I wasn't too sure. I didn't really check too well.
I mean, that 200 also came extremely randomly. It was like they were holding 100.0 and then they suddenly dropped to 99.95.
Yeah, I guess that's just how core jacks are, but it is
Yes.
time for Brazil to pick their map. I think they're going to stay in this lower half, maybe going for Rapuda or Dragonlands. They could pick their protect if they're feeling really desperate right now.
I think Dragonlance, I mean, even if they are not feeling desperate, something to get the ball rolling for them. Something to get some momentum going as well.
Yeah,
Even though... Yeah, sorry?
I definitely agree. It can definitely help them out, kind of getting this ball rolling since they are down a point already, and we're actually going to see Rise 4.
Okay, I think that this is still okay. Because when we're looking at the maps that Brazil and Japan have played already in the quarterfinals, Brazil have a better Rise 4. Not by much. It is 7,100 points of a difference between these two teams, but it could be enough. It could be.
Yeah, definitely could be enough, but we will have to see how these players fare. I believe if a 6-way full combos happens, it will be in favor of Brazil. I'm not too sure, honestly, considering that Japan did really well in that Rise 3, though. It is significantly different from this. There is still a lot of like jacky patterns in this map. I wouldn't really say mini jacks, but it still is very different from what we saw.
Something that is also... Okay, never mind. I was going to say something that might be different is if Crew K plays this, because I don't think Crew K really plays Rise apart from Kotjak. So, because we shall see. I mean, there are 4 Brazilian players in the lobby right now. I think Brazil has to make up their mind as to who's going to play. I believe the 3 players that did play Raw, understanding Brazil versus Mexico, Japan versus Spain, it was Miwiki, Lema Senior, and Netro, and for Japan it was Yomogi, 13 Wiz, and a father.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. All of these players kind of being very good at these kind of technical maps, and it is looking like that is going to be the exact same lineup as we saw last time. So these players are all in the lobby. Brazil really needs to take these picks, honestly. It is very important for them to take everything that they can since they are down the break point.
Yeah, right now, just looking at the first 2 maps, it does seem like Brazil might be struggling with a bit of combo consistency. The accuracy is without question, but when you're missing in a match against pretty experienced Japanese players, you will be on the back foot.
Yeah, and we got our MP start command to go out right now, so we will be starting this map. Brazil's second pick, quarterfinals in this match, Rice 4. a raw understanding. It is time to see whether Brazil will be able to make up their point and at least put a point on the board.
Surely they have to find something from this map pool anyways. They've set some very good scores already against Mexico. But so far, you would say that their performances against Japan at least have been a little bit underwhelming, and we'll see if they'll be able to turn their fortunes around.
Yeah, and starting out, we're actually seeing Japan being in the lead just off of accuracy alone. All these Japanese players are having super good accuracy, particularly 13 Wiz at this 99.98 at the start. Brazil kind of all being consistently around the same area, but it's really going to be the difference between their minor accuracy that can be a big deal.
Oh, and there's a miss from Netro, as I say, combo consistency being a problem for Brazil. Again. And Le Marcinho to follow. Oh dear, Japan. 5-digit lead already just like this.
Yeah, these early drops are not too great. This map just gets harder and harder because these bursts and mini jacks just continually, relentlessly attack the players, and it's just like so much to stay consistent on. If Japan probably won't be able to FC all the way, but with Le Marcinho missing once again, it's just not what you want to see. Japan has the opportunity. They can take 2 or 3 misses at this point and they'll still be fine.
Yeah, Miwiki still trying to hold everything together as a father finds the first miss for Japan. Now, that is what Brazil needs, but that is what Brazil wants more of.
Yeah, but I believe even with that miss, Japan still has the accuracy advantage just overall, so I think even Japan taking a few misses, it'll still be in their favor. So Brazil really needs to just continually hold on or hope for Brazil or Japan to continually miss in this last section. We get into this break, there is quite a bit more map left, a third to go at this 10k lead. It has shrunk from that 20k lead that we were seeing earlier, so there is still an opportunity for Brazil to take this point.
Yeah, Yomogi being the lowest accuracy amongst the remaining FCs might be a little bit of a worry to Japan, but 13 Wiz still holding a 99.9 is absolutely incredible. Miwiki doing all they can to try and keep Brazil in this still. But as the map continues to progress further and further, the hope for Brazil to try and get a point on the board is going to fade away.
Yeah, and Netro taking a drop is not what you want to see. We are in this last sliver of map. This lead will only be increasing unless Japan takes a brutal lot of misses in this last section, but I don't think that's going to happen. And as we wrap up this map, Japan will be taking a second breakpoint here. 3-0 for Japan.
Oh my gosh. This is very unfortunate. If Brazil's score against Mexico were put into this, they would have won as well. It just feels like Brazil's players are going through something rough. I mean, Natural said that their game lag. This is not just like bad in terms of points, but also their mental. Now you're being 3-0 down, perhaps being hindered by factors that you can't control. And now going back to Japan's pick as well. There has to be some miracles now.
Yeah, we are halfway through this match for Japan, 3-0. That means they only need 3 more picks. And keep in mind, Japan still has both SV's options. They still have their Protect that they can pick. So they have the chance of kind of just easily getting to this match point if Brazil hasn't played enough of these SVs. And also, Brazil wasn't just losing off of like 1 or 2 misses. It was mainly just because both Le Marcinho and Netro missed in like 2 different sections. So even with Netro not having that lag, I think it still would have been Japan favor just because they have been so consistent on this map. Two-way FC, even if their FCs aren't too great of accuracy, it really doesn't matter since an FC just means so much in terms of like these minor score differences.
Yeah, and also 13 Wiz having a 996k, 196 300s on a raw understanding is very good. Would definitely have helped Japan's case as well if Netro didn't lag. And oh wow! They are still keeping this Rice theme, they are going for Rice 1.
Yeah, I definitely think that is quite interesting to choose, maybe just opting to kind of play these simpler maps in this pool.
I mean, both teams have played this already against their respective teams earlier, and Japan have a 15,000 point advantage just based off those numbers. However, I've already said that with Brazil, and they've lost, what, 3 points already, so you'll never know now.
Yeah, Brazil has been slightly playing worse than yesterday, though we definitely can't. I feel like haven't seen them at their full strength. They've been taking a lot of misses
Yeah.
at like random sections. And I feel like this map is not one where you kind of take random misses all over the place just because it is very, very, I guess, simple to be able to play throughout and not very easy to have a very dirty mess up.
It does seem like the entire Japan team is just gone as well, which is a bit funny. I don't think there will be a huge change coming from a raw understanding to this map. I think there's only going to be one, which is going to be NA in replacement of Yomogi. There we go.
Yeah, and as you said, that's what happened, and I believe these will be the lineups. We are seeing, or not seeing Netro in this map instead of
Yeah.
Silly Fangirl, which is interesting. Maybe just going for an added bit of consistency. We haven't seen Netro miss quite a lot in just kind of random sections, which is not really what you want to see. Maybe Silly Fangirl just in here so that they are able to kind of have that SC.
Yeah, Netro was also complaining about lag, so maybe stepping away first and hoping that the issue resolves while getting in a veteran player, a pretty seasoned player.
Yeah, and starting off, Japan on this pick has been doing super well, but it is actually looking like Brazil is honestly a bit in the lead. It is flickering, but I think this is still Brazil favored.
It might be Japan by a bit. I know a father has pretty low accuracy right now, but I mean NA. Oh, actually 13 Wiz did drop a bit of accuracy. It might be off NA though, holding a 99.9, but this is very close to tell.
Yeah, if a father just continually is kind of dropping their accuracy like they haven't, but honestly it's been the opposite. They've been improving their accuracy since the start, and that is this lead is kind of going in favor of Japan right now as we get further and further into this map. So the Fangirl also doing the same, but it's just not as fast as a father.
Yeah, slowly and steadily. I would want to say that Japan have the lead right now, but I mean you can see it for yourself. This lead is very negatable.
Yeah, this lead is so fragile. Any miss, any 200, honestly, will switch it over. This is just so little. It is, right now, we can see a well Japan at about 1,000, 1,500, halfway through the map exactly. And so, like, any 200 from any of these players messing up just a little bit of a stream can switch it. And I believe this lead has been kind of decreasing, but we're actually seeing an increase because Silly Fangirl is struggling a bit, getting a lot of 200s.
Yeah, Silly Fango did pick up a bit of an accuracy, dropped down to 0.5. And now the lead is not going to flicker anymore. Because Japan's total accuracy has been pretty stable. And Brazil, they are trying to put this back.
Yeah, Brazil is kind of pulling it back slightly, but at this point is honestly increasing. About a fourth of the map left. I think a miss or two has to happen for Brazil, or for Japan, for Brazil to be able to take this point. And as we're getting in, this ending section isn't too difficult from what we have been playing since you have this break.
Yeah, anything can still happen though. These streams are gonna be relentless towards the end, and until the end. A fatal drop from Japan could swing it, but that is going to be it. A 4th point to Japan. And Brazil staring down the whole of possible elimination. Because Japan are 2 points away.
Yeah, it is definitely very interesting to see since Japan has a clear path to victory. They can just play these SVs if they have practiced them so far, and they can just win. They only need 2 more points, and there's only 2 more SV picks left. Also, keep in mind, Brazil doesn't really have many picks to choose from right now.
I feel like Rice isn't working. They have to like try hybrids or LN anyways. Like, The next pick that they could go for could potentially be their last pick of the entire tournament. I really don't think Rice is going to be it. Okay, there we go. They are actually going to go for Hybrid 3, which is their Protect, so makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely think it is very important this pick, especially since if Brazil does lose this pick, Japan is already in a match point with pretty good options opened up. They can pick Rice 5 or Rice 5 or any of the SSVs to be able to pick if they really just want to, and they can get right back into match point.
Well, you did mention at the start of the match that Brazil would go for this when they really needed it, when they desperately need a point. I don't think either of us have predicted a 0-4 scoreline at this point of the match. But we are going to see it now.
I definitely didn't think so. I believe Japan is up at 2 break points, so if Brazil does lose this, I feel like it'll be kind of over. So it is very good that Brazil is picking out on their Protect, their Hybrid 3. They did super well on these more difficult techier maps in their last match, so maybe Japan gonna struggle a bit more on this map, and that'll help out Brazil a lot.
Yeah, I believe this is also Japan's pretty regular hybrid team, crew K13 Wiz and NA, and the same 3 players from Brazil that played against Mexico with on this map.
Yep, and here it is. The possible last pick for Brazil, if they aren't able to take this, a very determining pick for this team, and seeing who will be able to move on. Keep in mind this is losers, so this is probably one of the most important matches for both these players.
It is definitely quite interesting to see that this is a lower bracket matchup when not even half a decade ago these two teams were facing off for the entire World Cup itself.
Yeah, how times have really changed, honestly. As we get through this less easy bit, we get right into just the amount of interesting patterns that are present. Brazil having this lead slightly, really just focus on these kind of combos on these players.
Yeah, accuracy drops coming in from 13 Wiz and NA. As Brazil, they are also dropping a bit of accuracy, but not as much as Japan so far.
Yeah, Brazil is really just proficient at these kind of more awkward LN patterns with a lot of really weird releases, and because of that we can really just see it. Brazil with this lead, I believe this is probably the first time they've had a lead this big in a while, but natural taking a break is not what you want to see.
Oh, Sun Apple.
Sorry, I had to curse it. Brazil can't have a chance, I guess.
That is such a rough miss as well. 99.6 from Netro, and now Japan have the lead for the first time in Dragonlance. Accuracy definitely still favoring Brazil, I feel, but off that miss, I mean, that is cruel.
Yeah, there's still half the map left in this. Later half gets a lot more difficult, so Japan has a lot of sections to be able to miss. If they do 3-way FC, it'll be really impressive, since I'm not sure many teams have been able to do that, but they're looking like that is possible.
I mean, they are holding on to dear life. Japan really won revenge.
They truly do. A fourth of the map left. Keep in mind, this isn't Japan's pick, so if Japan is able to win this, it will be their 3rd breakpoint in a row and are able to kind of get into this match point. So as we get into this last section of the map, we need Brazil to stop choking, but Netro's constantly missing.
Oh, this is really bad to see if you support Brazil. Netro picking up a flurry of missiles. And Lane Marcinio and Silifango unknowingly still holding on to incredible scores, but not knowing that this point is sealed and signed.
Yeah, I mean, a sliver of the map left, not enough to be able to kind of make up for anything. The 21k point lead for Japan is here, and Japan stunningly, easily, basically winning this map and taking another breakpoint.
Can I just mention one random thing as well? Like, this score beats out South Korea's score, which is ridiculous. Japan are playing a game. It really feels like they are out for blood. And they are the ones calling for timeout. Are you sure? Are you sure Japan need a timeout? You're 5 points up to Brazil 0.
Yeah, that is definitely very interesting. I feel
Oh
like
man.
maybe nerfs are coming through. Maybe they just need to like play the math a bit more, whatever they're gonna pick. I would think SV1 is going to be picked. They still haven't picked their protect. It's definitely possible. Um, I don't really understand this protect or this timeout. Maybe just to calm nerves. Whatever. They're up 5-0. They have so many options to be able to pick.
Yeah, if anything, I feel like Brazil needs a timeout more. Because this has just been a performance they need to forget. And now they will have to stage the impossible and reverse sweep to still stay alive in the World Cup. Against a team that they managed to beat to win the entire thing now, they haven't had a sniff against Japan.
Yeah, honestly, they haven't really been close on winning any maps besides maybe Tree of Misery. I think that was the closest at like a few thousand, but I think most maps have been about 20,000 point difference, and that is just not really great in terms of like what maps are left in this pool for Brazil if they even are able to take a pick.
I mean, we're also not going to discredit how well Japan has been performing. Like I said, that Dragon Dance score beats out South Korea's. That Tree of Misery score is the best Tree of Misery score this entire quarterfinals. Like, they are playing like they are just out for war.
Yeah, Japan's definitely doing really well. I feel like they've been really improving in these later game picks. It's just as we go through this map, the Japan team has just been gaining physicality throughout everything. They've really just been able to kind of keep their accuracy consistent throughout the entire tournament.
Alright, there you go. SV1's coming out.
I think it was pretty predictable. I feel like they could technically go for other things, maybe like Rapuda or like Rice 5, but SV1 I think is just probably going to be the easiest victory. Or SV2 since Japan knows their scores. It's more that hard to understand.
I mean, Japan are just... They must be feeling extremely good. Like, if you just look at this map pool, like, 3 Rice maps, 1 Hybrid, 1 LN, and they are all Japan's points. Like, there has to be a huge confidence booster if you are from Japan. But if you're from Brazil, I mean, this is just a heartache.
Yeah, and we will be seeing the lineups for Japan and Brazil right now. I believe this is the first time we're seeing Notolina in this match.
Yep.
Probably just an SV player on this team, and Japan having Kruke, Yomogi, and I'm not sure who else will play. Probably... I'm not sure actually.
I would say 13 Wiz, because 13 Wiz did play First Frost, which was SV2. But I don't know if they catered like specific players to both SV maps, so we'll see. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it is gonna be 13 Wiz, yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that, but I wasn't too sure. But it is looking like these are the lineups. Decently longer SV maps, so a lot of things to be able to kind of remember in this map.
Yeah, some of these starters in this map go quite hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of the things that you're kind of expecting from Pamacho's maps. They have been a bit more well-known mapper as of recently, and they've really been doing well on these kind of like starter patterns that a lot of people aren't too confident on, I feel.
Alright, I believe MP Star will be going on. And we'll see if this could be the icing on the cake for Japan. In what has been, I would say, a very unpredictable match that has now led to a 5-0 in favor of Japan. And it could still end up being a sweep. I cannot believe that I would be saying that with a match this potentially close from the start.
Yeah, it definitely was very close, just potentially, but for now, we have gotten to this point. It is 5-0. Japan having already quite a bit of the lead. It's looking like Brazil hasn't really played this too well. All three of their players playing with no fail, and Silly Fangirl at the 97 at this point.
Yeah, and we still haven't gotten ourselves into the starters, and here we go, Lema Senior and Silly both miss already. And that could be the final chapter for them. As we see Japan still holding on to two 99.9s. Natalina also doing pretty well, 99.7.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, considering just how, I guess, low accuracies Brazil has, I think it is kind of early to say, but I think it's most likely over.
I think it is over as well as Natalina does find that drop. No FCs to all the FCs for Japan. It is green lights over on the side of Team Blue as they are absolutely decimating this map. Crew K holding on to 99.9 as Yomogi does find a miss on the starters, drops from 99.8 to 99.2. However, that will not matter one bit.
Yeah, I mean, this map is super difficult, so I don't really blame any of these players for getting a lot of misses, or just misses in general, since just looking at this map, it has seemed so difficult to be able to play accurately, especially since it's just kind of hard to be able to tell when things are going to be hit at what point.
Now these patterns as well, like, they might look very simple, but the starters, extremely easy to misread the rhythms.
Yeah, and they're just so close to each other. It's not super... You can't, like, take a break at all. Everything is always coming at you at some point.
I mean, we'll have to see this Japan team score once this map does reach its conclusion. And also Kuke's score, because they are still holding a 99.9.
Yeah, I feel like that's really what everybody's been looking at Kuke's score, since they are probably best known for their SV ability. And as we get up to this last point, I wonder what they're going to get. What are you thinking?
I mean, I feel like they're on course for a V1SS, which is incredible. I don't know how many 300s, but surely it's gonna be something I can't really pull out of a hat from.
Yeah, and also 13 was missing, so no FCs besides Kuke and Japan.
No FCs in the lobby besides a V1SS and 53 300s from Kuke to seal a clean sweep from Japan. Revenge has been served cold, and it has been served towards Brazil. The champions of 2020 have lost to the runners-up of 2020. Japan are moving on, knocking Brazil out of the 2024 Oceania 4K World Cup. How about that?
GG's. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see. I feel like a lot of people have been kind of seeing Brazil getting a slightly worse and Japan really improving throughout these past few years. Just all their newer players doing super well, and it's honestly good to see that they are the ones to move on to the next round.
Yeah, with that being said though, I believe we will have to swiftly move on to another match that is actually happening right this instance, which is China versus Canada. No breaks to be pulled here. And I believe we will be having a swap of the lobbies as well as a swap of commentators, because I will be taking my leave. It has been a pleasure commentating this weekend. However, I will be stepping aside for another commentator by the name of Mifa, and I believe that we will have a warm welcome from the chat for them. And yeah, this is the last match of the quarterfinals, and hopefully you will all enjoy it.